Hello, sir. Thank you so much for having us here. On behalf of Collegedunia, it's a pleasure to meet you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So, sir, first of all, I wanted to know a question, that every single media student, media aspirant must have in mind. What is the ideal media student? What are the characteristics of an ideal media aspirant?
See, when we look at a student, the student we think is most suited for a career in media is the one who has already displayed some credible creative work during his school days. That is, he wrote for the school magazine or he wrote for the college magazine. And now with the advent of social media, he loves to create blogs. He likes to create podcasts. He may have his own blog also. Now, anybody who's creative and has already started dabbling in different forms of media, that is the right student for the course because he's interested in media and is using the facilities available at this point of time to start creating content. The other very, very important characteristic or ability that we look for in a media student is his command over English language.
Yeah.
So you cannot be a good media professional, whether you're a journalist or you are an advertising professional or a PR professional, unless you are strong in your language. That is, if you want to work in English language media, you should be very strong in English. If you want to work in Hindi, you should be very strong in Hindi. So we check students for their 1, creative abilities, 2, their language skills, and 3, to a certain extent, we also look at their general awareness, how aware they are.
Right. So, sir, with social media being, one of the key things right now, everyone is on social media, whether it be, the teachers, the students. So, is social media, for example, you said blogs, is that some of the things that you look forward to as well? Like, do the students add their social media, the Instagram handles as well when they're applying for a course at the university?
Yes, of course. What it shows is that they love to create content. See, one is to browse the social media to see what your friends are writing or what video your friend has shared. That is more like knowing your friend and what he or she is doing. But what we look for is, are you creating content on social media? Are you creating a YouTube video? It may be a family video you may have shot. That's the material. Have you put it up on YouTube? Have you seen any likes coming up? If you have gone for a holiday with your parents, have you written a small piece as to what was your experience regarding the hotel, regarding the travel or tourism facilities available at the place? Now, if you have that instinct, that clearly shows you are cut out for media.
Interests.
Yes.
At the very beginning, you are actually, working towards something, and you might not know about it, you might not be good at it, but then of course, if you're moving forward, then of course, Bennett University is going to teach you in a better way.
Absolutely. So if you have that interest, so when you get into the program, we polish you up. We give you the software knowledge, we give you the technology base, we give you the content creation skills to build on what you have shown as your interest.
So, sir, being the Dean of Times Media School at Bennett University, what exactly does it, makes the best choice for a student to, enter for media studies?
You see, what we have done is we have created India's first professional media program. See, there are plenty of universities which offer you a graduation degree in journalism and mass communication. There are plenty of private media schools which do the same. But one of the missing gaps is when a student passes out and goes to work in a newspaper or a website or in a television channel, the complaint that you get from the editors is that the students do not know the skills. They may know the concepts very well. They may know the history of the Indian press very well. But how does it help us in bringing out the newspaper? Now, this was a gap in media education in India. That's the gap that the Times School of Media has filled up. So what we have done is, we are very strong on concepts. We do not dilute our concepts. We teach the theory that is taught at any other university. On that, there's a huge superstructure of skills which may be the ability to write a news report for a newspaper, a web report for a website, create a video which you can edit on your phone and upload on the go, create a podcast and upload it on the website.
So handy these days, you can be using an iPhone instead of a DSLR, and then you're going to get similar 4K quality videos. So I think it's becoming more and more reachable and approachable for students who would want to get into the film domain or anything. And of course, schools like Bennett University are there to polish their skills and enhance their knowledge in that domain.
Quite right.
So as the name suggests, Times Media School. So it represents the prominent Times Group. So what role exactly does Times Group play in the whole idea?
Oh, it's a complete hands-on role. We are integrated with the Times of India group. It's, you see, at the curriculum stage, the involvement starts at the curriculum stage. So once our curriculum is ready, which the academicians prepare, keeping in mind the student requirements, it goes to the editors. Now, when it goes to the editor looks at your curriculum and says, look, I'm looking for a news reporter and these are the skills I would like to see you teaching.
Right.
It may go to the advertising person in the Times group. He'll say, look, these are the skills we want to see in students who come and join us. So your curriculum...
industry ready for that particular job.
You see, the big difference the Times group has brought in is that this curriculum is a huge blend of industry requirements with academic rigor.
Right.
And so that's at the curriculum stage. The second stage would be sending the students out to go and see the facilities of Times of India, like Times Now Studios or Radio Mirchi Studios or the printing press of the Times of India. The third would be even bigger. All the senior editors of the Times group come in and speak to the students and share their point of view. Now, the industry learning that happens because they're coming here regularly and talking to the students builds the student knowledge and their confidence. The fourth is when it comes to infrastructure, the equipment that we need to buy. And I'll give you one very recent example. You see, the world is moving very rapidly to the mobile phone as a device on which content is being created as well as it is being consumed on mobile device. So last year, based on the specific inputs from our Chancellor, we went ahead and we have bought a complete range of mobile equipment which even professional organizations don't have. These includes very high-end mobile rigs where you can mount your mobile phone, where you can put on flashlights, which have leads that can connect to your phone, and you can record an interview 3 meters away from you. So, and they're extremely stable. You just hold it and kind of run it. So initially we had gone in for gimbals. Gimbals we thought was very good, but gimbals is now past. We have to move on to mobile rigs. In the case of the mobile rigs, these are very light and you can have a 360-degree sweep across a huge gathering and be able to record an event without any shake. So now the university or the school constantly keeps upgrading its equipment, whether it is hardware or software, and at the same time makes sure that the students learn the latest technology that's on the market. So when they pass out, they don't have to be handheld and told, look, you don't know this and you don't know that.
That is very important, yes sir. So as we know, there are various domains that a BJMC student can get into. So what are some of the major specializations that are available at Times Media School at Bennett University?
Okay, let me answer this question at 2 levels. The first question that you asked me is, what are the different domains in which a media student can get into?
Right.
So you can become a print journalist, which is a reporter or a sub-editor. You can join the radio, where you can become an RJ or a producer. You can join the television as a reporter, as an editor, as a video editor. You can move on to the web, where you can work as a digital media producer. You can work as a SEO specialist, as a web analytics person. So there's plenty of jobs available on digital platforms. You can get into event management Event management, unfortunately, because of the pandemic, took a backseat this year, but there are plenty of jobs and work to be done in that area. You can get into advertising. Advertising is huge, both traditional advertising, which you see on television and newspapers, and now digital advertising and social media marketing. So these are huge areas where the students can get into. You also have digital photography. You also have films. So this is the only degree which prepares you for 12 possible careers. And all these careers, based on your area of interest, is join us as a trainee, and you can hope to rise to the level of the CEO or the editor-in-chief. So they are very structured careers, and there's no other degree, English literature, sociology, history, none of these careers prepare you for 12, none of these degrees prepare you for 12 possible careers. So that was your first question. The second question regarding specialization. One of the very defining features of the BJMC program is the 5 specializations that we offer to the student. So a student is first taught the different fields of media like print or television or radio. And in the last semester, he can choose a discipline of his liking from 5 possible disciplines. So you can specialize as a print journalist, television journalist, a digital media journalist, that is web or mobile, advertising, and public relations. So you have 5 clear fields in which you can specialize. And then when you pass out, you can join that particular industry.
So I was going through the website and I noticed, there's a honors BJMC program as well as a past BJMC program. I wanted to know the difference between both of them actually.
I'm glad you've asked this question. This is a very important question. And we consider it a huge differentiator in our program. You see, under the UGC requirements, your course should have at least a minimum of 120 credits for a student to be given a BJMC degree. So BJMC has 37 courses, and together they add up to 120 credits to get a pass course degree. So this is available to all the students. Now, based on this, there's an extra layer, which we call the honors courses. Now, honors courses are purely skill-based courses, advanced media skills in different fields like print, television, radio, web, advertising, public relations. They are part of the honors course. Now, a student who does these extra 30 credits, that means now he'll be passing out with 150 credits, is the one who will get a BA honors degree in journalism and mass communication. Now, if you look at it from the student point of view, let's say you wanted to get into the program. So you will be automatically admitted into the honors course as well as the pass course. But now it is incumbent upon you to ensure that you pass your honors course every semester. If you fail even in one semester, then you're taken out of the honors program. Because our honors program is like a seal of professional superiority. And we want any student who has a BJMC honors degree from Times School of Media should be at least 1 year ahead of anybody else who's working in the industry. So for us, honors program is very important, and I would suggest any student wanting to get into Times School of Media his ambition, his aspirations must be to get an honors degree.
I love it. So as we know, BJMC itself is it's all about practical exposure and hands-on training. So what exactly is Bennett University doing to prepare the students for the same?
Yes, I mean, that's another very good question. You see, in the very first semester, we throw the student to the deep end and we teach them how to write a news report, how to edit a news report, how to make a page. And then the students combine this knowledge to bring out a broadsheet newspaper of 12 pages. Now, when you are just about 17 or 18 years old, you see your byline in a printed newspaper. The thrill, the excitement of having actually produced a newspaper, which is like...
It's such a big motivation to keep moving forward and keep working better.
Yes. So that's a practical skill also the student is learning in the process. He enjoys the work because it is so much fun. Yes, of course, it's hard work, but it's also fun at the same time. So first semester, he brings out a broadsheet newspaper, which is the Times of Bennett. And this is brought out twice a week. The second semester, he works on television. We have a television channel called BUTV, where the students work. That is, they are given these cameras, the Sony Handycam or Blackmagic. They shoot the campus events, come back, edit them on Max, and then write a script and anchor the bulletin. So they learn how to create a news bulletin. So the students will be divided into groups, with each student given a different responsibility by rotation. So that's what happens in second semester. The third semester, they move on to the web. And when they move on to the web, they create web reports, they create podcasts, they create video stories, they create photo essays. So all of that is purely digital content and has been created keeping in mind the requirement of a website. The fourth semester is their advertising semester plus the film semester. So the film semester is the one that the students really love, because that is where they go out and make either a documentary film or a feature film. And the advertising project, there's a 360 degrees. There will be 3 projects that they'll be doing to understand how to create commercials, how to do market surveys, to understand how an advertisement should be created. The fifth semester is focused on data journalism, which is today a very, very important skill to have, because you need to find stories from large masses of data, which is today available in the public domain, and public relations. So they work on creating crisis studies. The sixth semester is the specialization semester. Now, the specialization semester is a pure high-end skilled semester, in the sense that the students work only on live projects, which would mean, like for this semester, the students would be blogging for the Jaipur Literary Festival. So as the event happens, or as the session happens, they would be required to create blogs which would go up on their website, and we'll be evaluating whether they have acquired the skill or not.
So can you throw some light on the infrastructure facilities and the media labs that are available for the students to actually work practically in the institute?
So when we talk of infrastructure, we have 4 different kinds of labs on which the students work. So they start off with the basic, and that is the writing part. So for that, we have 2 PC labs of 30 systems each, and 3 Apple iMac labs of 30 systems each. So total number of computers with which students work is 150. I would be surprised if many organizations have so many computers. So you can see the amount of that's at the basic level. Then you move to the audio. The audio, there's a radio studio which has been built by Radio Mirchi, and it has some high-end equipment. And the soundproofing, the selection of equipment, the software, everything makes it a very as professional radio studio as you would see anywhere. If you look at a television studio, our television studio has been made by Times Now, and we've got one of the high-end production control rooms where the student learns to work with a 3-camera feed in a live environment and select the feed that should actually go out on BUTV. The cameras also are quite professional, and the student is given it to them so that they can go out, shoot, come back. And we are probably the only university at this point of time, I am not very sure, but I personally think we are probably the only university which has mobile media labs. Even the industry is still in the process of setting up mobile media labs. So we have a mobile teleprompter also, and the students sit in the mobile media lab to create mobile content. And of course, as I explained to you earlier, they use the high-end mobile rigs with lenses to improve shooting with a mobile phone. So all these facilities help the student learn the technology that is required to be a media professional today. And if you look at the software, the kind of software that we teach to the students, we teach about 10 different kinds of software.
Yeah.
For print and photo, they work on Affinity Publisher. For radio, they work with Audacity. For video, they work with Lightworks. For infographics, they work with Canva. Then you have several other software that is taught to them. Like for instance, for filmmaking, they work with Telex.
Yeah.
So for each field, the software that is being used by the industry, the students get to use that software while they're still studying.
Mm-hmm.
And the big advantage is that when they pass out, they know to work with 10 different kinds of software. So you can actually call them, they're ready to become a multimedia journalist. Now that's a huge difference that the school brings in, which for the industry is a very welcome change, because now they have students who can work with 10 different, they can work with 10 different kinds of software.
So at this point of time, I would like to tell our audience that, Bennett University is one of the few institutes that also offer BJMC in Hindi. So, sir, I wanted to know what new horizons and opportunities are there for the students who pursue BJMC in Hindi.
That's my great project. I'm very excited about BJMC in Hindi. You see, in this country, if you look at our media, the top 5 newspapers are Hindi newspapers.
Exactly. Yes.
The biggest footprint of the television channels is in Hindi and regional languages. But do we have a professional program in Hindi journalism?
Mm-hmm.
We just don't. I mean, we have such a vibrant Hindi media, but we don't have a professional program. So we are the first university which is trying to fill this gap and train students to go out and work in Hindi newspapers, in Hindi television channels, on Hindi websites. In the Hindi film industry, of course, there was some professionalism there, but that also. So we look upon BJMC Hindi as the future of media education. And going forward, we'll have our, as the internet grows, as it reaches the rural areas, the demand for people working in Hindi or in regional languages will continue to grow. And if there is nobody who's teaching them, so what do you do? So that's why we consider BJMC Hindi to be an extremely good program for any youngster to get in, because for him, that's the future.
Yeah. So, sir, I won't be taking much of your time. One last but important question is the placements. So, what are the placement opportunities once a student has, pursued media studies from Times Media School at Bennett University?
Okay, that's a slightly difficult question, but an important question. You see, in India, a graduation degree is not a terminal degree. If you do BJMC, it doesn't mean that your education has come to an end.
Right.
Our very best students want to go out of India and do a master's. Our very good students want to get into MBA also, some of them. Some of them want to try for civil services and work for it. Some of them also want to do an MA. So, unlike engineering, where BTech is a terminal degree, BJMC cannot be considered as a terminal degree.
Right.
Despite that, what we do is, we have a placement cell in Bennett University whose task is to speak to different media organizations and ensure that there are opportunities created for students to apply and get a possible job. So the numbers of students who are actually interested after doing BJMC to get into the industry is not as high as you would think in the case of BTech. But even these students who are interested in joining the industry, we make sure that they do end up getting a good job.
Yeah. So I think that was all from my end. It was really lovely talking to you. I think that all the students and all the audience who are watching this will really find it informative, and look forward to having more such conversations with you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much.